10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
G'day and welcome to Dax Chats. We have another wonderful individual to talk to today, and he has been, how do I say, he was the Star Maker winner of 2002 at Tamworth, and then somehow or other he disappeared. But he's come back with a new single. It's called The Reason, and today I have Dax Chats with Kieran Lancini. Here he is. How are you, Kieran?
Hi.
Hey, buddy. So you are not in Australia. You're in the UK.
Yeah, I'm buzzing in from London. It's 12:30. It's a beautiful day. So yeah, it's all good. Yep, London.
Okay, so let's go all the way back. 2002, you won Star Maker in Tamworth. What was that experience like for you, for starters?
God, it was amazing. I was 21, very, very young then. I grew up in a really small cane farming town in North Queensland where, there was only 4 kids in my class, 300 people in the town kind of thing. So I've always wanted to sing, and I moved to Sydney just as I applied for Star Maker. And then I moved there after I finished my university, small country boy in big old city, and then lived in Sydney for 4 months. And then Star Maker happened. And I was just kind of thrust into this amazing experience, meeting, performing and meeting these incredible people. It was kind of a blur to start off with. I was kind of, twirling around trying to catch my breath a lot. But it was, looking back of it now, I mean, it was one of the most amazing experiences I think I've ever had. And I'm such an advocate for Star Maker, and will shout out about it, until I'm blue in the face, that it was such an incredible, and still is an incredible launching ground for, Australian country music artists. So, yeah.
It is. Absolutely, but for you, I suppose all the glim and I keep hearing myself. All the glim and glamour sort of got the better of you, and you sort of disappeared from it all. What happened?
Yeah, well, obviously, Star Maker. Well, you released 2 singles at that point. Back in those days, you were signed to ABC Universal for a 2-single release. So I released A Matter of Time, which was recorded by Rick Price and Rogue McCormack. We went to number 4, which is amazing. And then the second one was All Because of You, which I wrote with Tamara Stewart, which went to number 7. So I had a really kind of successful year with Star Maker and touring around, doing major country music festivals, driving around in my Star Maker car, which I called Piacenza. Driving around, meeting everyone. And, and the subsequent year following Star Maker, I still continued. I, wrote a lot with Phil Barton, who's now lives in America and writing these massive hits. So him and I used to write together every day, and, still honing the craft. I was still signed to management. I was still doing shows. But I think it was 3 years after Star Maker, I always had the wanting to travel. As I said, I grew up in a very small part of Australia, cane farming community, and I never really saw the world. And I've always wanted to come over to Europe. I kind of left Australia wanting, on a 6-month trip. I'm going to come back in 6 months. I told my friends, my family. I moved all my stuff back from Sydney to North Queensland. So I'm going to take this time while I'm 22, just go out and see the world with full intent of coming back. But I never came back. I just ended up staying here, much to my parents' disgust and dismay. I know. And I missed it. I so miss Australia. I so missed it. And, living here and trying to sort of break into music as well over here is quite tough. So I just ended up getting a job. And music was then past me. I'd still sing every now and then, getting a couple of bottles of wine in me and heading to a karaoke bar, little area and all that kind of stuff. And then, I thought that was in my past, and I was okay with it being in my past. And then I kind of went back, and I was asked to go back for the Tamworth Country Music Festival for the 40th
For the
anniversary.
40th anniversary, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why not? I've not seen my parents for them like 4 years,
Yeah.
and I was like, sure, let's go back and just have a little bit of fun, and it was one of the defining moments. And there was also another defining moment. I used to work in visitor attractions. I worked a lot in China, Europe, and I was opening one up in America, one in Nashville. And I reconnected with Phil and everyone. And I got up and sang a song at the listening room in Nashville 2 years ago. And that and Star Maker 40th anniversary was something that I was like, okay, now I kind of missed this. It sort of ignited something in me. And I was like, yeah, let's just do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and so you've come out with this, you know, this year you've come out with this release, which basically talks about your family being dream makers and, you know, chance takers, and sort of it sort of encapsulates your family experience, and now you're saying that now I've found the reason.
Yeah, it was interesting. My auntie, when I was home, told me the story about my great-grandparents flipping a coin from Scotland and flip a coin to migrate to either Australia or Canada. And thankfully, Australia won, heads won. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, kind of thing. So that's where the reason came from. And Tamara Stewart, who I wrote the song with, was over in England doing a tour. And we got together, opened up the bottles of wine, and the reason came out in a matter of about 40 minutes. And it was one of those things where hopefully their adventurous spirit kind of is instilled in me in a way, and that's why and it's kind of the reason is an autobiographical song. And there's the London Lights and Lonely Nights, moving from Australia over here, not really knowing anyone. You really have to put your heart on your sleeve and sort of put faith in yourself to go out there and meet people and to start this whole kind of new adventure, this new chapter, which it was for me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm going to ask, because I know another famous Australian that does live over in the UK. Have you hooked up with Darren Hayes? Because maybe he would have helped. He would have helped you with the learning ground in the UK.
Yeah, no, I haven't hooked up with him yet. I'd like to. I was a massive fan of Darren and everyone, but but no, I haven't hooked up. It was yeah, and it's sort of like I just threw the reason out there. Like, I'm just going to throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. And I have to sort of say thank you, Dax, for being one of the very first people to really push and promote the song. So I really, really appreciate you and the Country Thunder Network for it. So thank you so much.
We love the song, and we also love Red Rebel music. Shout out to Kaz.
Kaz,
they're very good supporters of us, and we're very good supporters of their artists as well. So So it just happens when Kaz sends me something. It's like magic. It's like, okay, let's go, let's do this, and so we push it out as quickly as we can. Yeah. So, and I guess I have to ask. Obviously, you've had this 17-year gap where you've experienced life in a whole different way, in a whole different world. And you had to release this song in the middle of a pandemic. How's the pandemic happened for you? Because you're in the UK, so it's completely different to what's happening in America, what's happening in Australia. What's happened with the pandemic in the UK?
Well, I had COVID. I had an antibodies test, and I had it, and I knew I had it, and I was pretty crook for about a month. I never would like to wish it on my worst enemy. It was awful. But it was really it was tough over here. I mean, the whole country just shut down. And we're slowly kind of hairdressers opened last week, and I think gyms are opening at the end of the month. So kind of slowly getting there. But I went into town. I walked into central London the other day, and it was quite scary. It was like 28 days later, there was no one in the streets. It's quite surreal, really quite surreal.
Yeah.
So
it's
been different, and it really kind of made me miss my parents and made me miss Australia during this time, because I'm over here and all my family is back there. So it kind of makes you really think very long and hard about your choices and stuff.
So I didn't know you actually tested positive for it. I didn't actually know you had the sickness. Wow.
Yeah, I had it bad, but I didn't go to hospital or anything. The doctors were like, if you can manage your symptoms, at home, please do. But my mate had it, and he had it only for like 4 days. He was fine. And I had another friend who didn't even know she had it, was positive. But I was like in bed, I was vomiting blood at one point. It was pretty bad. Yeah, awful.
A lot of medical journals that are coming out these days are actually saying that the medical professionals are not telling us the after effects of COVID. Like even now, even though you've got through it, what damage has it done, and what damage has been left behind. So there's reports coming out now that say that, you know, just the damage from a simple infection could take 10 years off your life.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite. Look, I could feel it moving around my body, and because I always get bad sinus and I always suffer with allergies and stuff, and I could feel it after it attacked my breathing and all that. I could feel it just go there, and then it went to my kidneys, and I was like, oh my god! It took me seriously about 8 weeks for me to feel just even slightly more better. It was quite rough.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, my goodness! Obviously I'm here in China where it all started, and as soon as like the 23rd of January in Wuhan, they shut the whole city down, and it ended up being the whole province. On the same day, the Chinese central government decided to shut Beijing down, because that's where all the government officials are and stuff like that, and they didn't want anybody getting infected in Beijing, or the top-ranking people. So I was stuck in my house ever since it started, and I was like, and the pandemic is what brought the radio station together, because I was like sitting at home going, what the hell do I do now? You know?
I mean, I've been off work for months now, so releasing the single was the perfect distraction for me. And I was lucky, because it was recorded in January in Nashville. So we had amazing session musicians play. I wasn't on that trip, but I then did the vocals in Sheffield. So I was kind of sitting on this song, and I thought, well, there's no better time now than sitting here watching Murder She Wrote to release the Reason kind of thing, and it kind of worked. I was so thrilled with it, and we're thrilled with the reception that it got.
It's you've had a great reception. It's been on our chart a little bit. It's been on our chart.
Oh yeah,
we need to get and it was great. It was great. Yeah, because we had people from the UK tuning in, and we had people voting from the UK as well as from Australia for you. So, you've got a good fan base over in the UK, and you've got a good fan base back in Australia that remember your journey back then. So
yeah, it's always quite scary, like being away for so long, coming back, and that's why I didn't expect anything. Like and just waking up at the morning of release and just seeing it, like it started at number 10 in the UK charts, and it ended up on number 2, and just seeing that in Australia, I think got to 15 or something. It was one of the most incredible moments, and I was really so thrilled. And I kind of want to do something again. Now I want to kind of keep going, and it's been encouraging.
Well, that's it. That was my next question. What's next for Kieran Lancini? Because you've got so much forward momentum from this one song. Do you keep going? Do you record something else?
I have something that is sitting there that I might release in the next couple of months. But there's also another demo that Phil and I wrote, would have been 14 years ago now, that I'd like to release, but obviously needs to be recorded properly, and so that can also potentially be on the cards. But again, what I would love to record in Nashville, be actually in there, record in the studio while it's all happening, because The Reason was done in Nashville, as I said, but I wasn't actually there. It was just a video call kind of thing. I'd like to do, but again, travel and the way the world is at the moment, probably won't be this year. But I'll have something I can potentially put out, just sort of, maybe.
Well, I hope everybody survives in America, because it's what's going on over there is just ludicrous, and 1% of the 1% of the population's already been infected, so it's not a nice situation over there. And I can't believe that people like Troy Kemp wanted to go and live there.
I mean, after being in Nashville, I've been about 8 times now for work, and I love the place. I can understand why people want to go there. There's that magic. It's in the air, the music, and the food. I mean, I was there for 2 weeks on a stint, and just came back like a stone heavier. All that barbecue meat, genius.
Yeah.
Not good
Gotta
for the
love
weight
them.
line.
Gotta love their food, eh? And
Yeah.
and of course the music. And I wish I could go, but I won't go. I probably won't go.
Yeah.
I'll probably just sit in my little studio. I like my studio. It's quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess, you know, for you, you've gone from being star maker to, you know, being non-existent in the music area to now
Yeah.
coming back. And for me, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to do it. And I did it. I was running out, you know, writing albums and writing singles and this and that, but I didn't know the way to do things, you know, so I was doing it my own way and not getting any result from it. And so you're lucky, you know, you've been through that star maker process. You've been through, you know, those issues, you know, so you knew about the business and knew where the business, you know, landed and what you could do in the business, where I never had any of that. And I was doing it since 1997. Yeah. So 25.
It's kind of fortunate that way, because when I had the reason, I sent it to Cheryl from Star Maker, and I said, "Can you please have a listen to this? Is it worth even me putting this out?" As like, and it was those kind of relationships through that whole journey that I kind of reached out and saying, thinking about doing this. Honest opinion, what do you think, kind of thing. And I'll probably do that again for the second single as well, just to test it with a few kind of industry people that I've kind of crossed paths with to see whether it, you know, it would sink or swim kind of thing.
If it'll stick, yeah, of course, absolutely, yeah. Well, you can always send it to me.
I will do. I'll send it over an email. You can give me a listen.
I'll give you an honest opinion. Don't worry.
Good.
And I know Kaz will. Kaz is always a straight talker. She's a straight shooter.
For years and years, and she was one of the very first people I thought of when I you know thought about releasing the song. I just contacted her, said, "Can you please help me out?" And she's just been phenomenal. She's just been incredible, and love her to bits. And I would definitely work with her again on anything that I do.
For sure. So any plans to move back to Australia and take on this career that you've now dived back into?
When I'm allowed to travel, definitely want to come back. I would love to come to Tamworth again. In terms of moving back, I mean, I've got bought a place here and kind of settled in that sense. But I want to come back as you know, potentially as much as I can. And definitely I'm desperate to go back. Go back. I miss Alan's lollies, and I miss Tin Tams, and I miss all the Australia. Every time someone comes and visits, I was like, "You better pack that bag full of Alan's lollies and some Tin Tams, or there's not getting access into my place." So
you're just like me. You're just like me. Every time I go back to Australia, I've got to have like the ice break iced coffees, and I've got to eat. And I've got to eat meat pies, and I've got to eat the worst stuff you can imagine, because you can't get it anywhere else. You know,
even like Cactus chocolate tastes different over here. Everything just tastes different. Even the fish and chips is not great over here, but
Coca-Cola tastes different all over the place.
Exactly.
Like just if you drink Coke in China, it's completely different to what it is in Australia. So, I know how you feel. All right, mate. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me and all of us. This will go out to, because it'll go out to a lot of people around the world. And
thank you so much. Thank you for all your support. Thank you. As I said, you're one of the very first people who got on board. So I'm here for you anytime you need me. So thank you very much for this. Really appreciate it.
No problem. All right. You have a wonderful day. I'll have a wonderful night.
All righty.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Kieran Lancini, and his new single, of course, is The Reason. You can listen to it. You can vote for it right here on the Country Thunder Network. Just go to our website, countrythunder.com.au, and you can also stream it, download it, get it any way you can. Right, this is Dax Chats. I'm DJ Dax. See you next time. Bye.